All right, we're here at the 2019 NAB show at the Zaxcom booth. We're talking with Glenn Sanders about the Nova and the URX100. So, Glenn, tell us about the Nova. It's different. It feels like a compact Nomad and Max and things that can take that niche with the built-in wireless. I love it.
Well, thank you. Well, what we really wanted to do here was come up with a totally new thing for the bag. We wanted to make sure that we could integrate the best features of our Nomad and our Diva, which is actually where the name comes from, No for Nomad, Va for Diva. So we put that all together into the Nova.
Worked out well.
It certainly did, yes. The important thing about Nova is it has all our best stuff in it. It has two wireless receivers, two dual wireless receivers right inside. If I turn the unit around, you're going to see that right on the back of it, we've got our URX212s. That's the same module that goes in our RX12 receiver. They are instantly removable, so that if you needed to change one for service purposes, you could do it. It also has our Zaxnet transmitter built in, so it's able to remote control our wireless transmitters. So any of the Zaxcom transmitters, such as the little ZMT transmitter, our TRX-LA, or any transmitter is able to be remote controlled simply by going into Zaxnet and turning the encoder knob to control the transmitter's gain. So when I say encoder knob, while these certainly look like regular faders, they're actually endless encoders. So they work like faders, and you can see there's a little pointer LED to show you where they are. We're actually able to give them functionality of Zaxnet control, internal trim of the preamps inside the Nova, as well as changing banks. And there are 4 operational banks, and they change color when I hit the bank key to show us that in fact we are controlling a different set of 5 inputs. So this is the first mixer recorder to have such a control system, and the layout of Nova really accomplishes that. We have PFL buttons on here for each of the 5 faders, and we have a pseudo touchscreen setup. I say pseudo touchscreen because basically there's 6 buttons, 3 above and 3 below, so that if I wanted to, let's say, go into my receiver menu, I could do that, and now the buttons on here show me that I can scan, I can go into a specific receiver, I can adjust frequencies. So you can do everything you need to do with this system of having the screen with the soft keys around it. So really great for field use because, you know, if you're in a situation where you're wearing gloves, often touchscreens just can't work that way.
Which is excellent. And the idea of having one, just walking out with one device in your bag.
Well, exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah, what you would really need with this is just simply an external battery and maybe a camera link transmitter. If you weren't going to go hardwired, you have the camera link. But that's it. I mean, even you can, you know, transmit IFB audio from this. You can transmit time code from this. Again, it's got the receivers. It's an all-in-one thing. And the best part is it only consumes 300 milliamps. That's 4 watts of power. That is just really,
very efficient.
Really low. So not only do you have something small in the sound bag, you have a very small battery in the sound bag that can run this thing for an entire day. So that's all really very good.
And when these come into production, they'll have a RF pass-through to add more receivers.
That's right.
Yeah.
We are actually adding the pass-through. It's already designed in. It's just not coming out on this unit.
Yeah.
So it'll have that. So if you wanted to hook up external receivers, you could do it. And we also have the ability to not utilize internal receivers, and we have a little plug-in that goes in the slot that brings out 4 AES inputs for each of the slots. And that'll give you a total of 12 AES inputs if you don't want to use the internal receivers. And you know, the other thing that I'll point out is when you look at this, all you see is a great looking product, a great looking mixer recorder that ergonomically is perfect. You don't have cables flying around, you don't have, you know, plug-in camera receivers that really aren't meant for this kind of thing. What we're able to do is have a form factor that allows us to do the best job of receiving RF with the proper filters in the receivers. And you know, this is something that Zaxcom has always done. We've tried to really optimize our RF and provide the kind of filtering that you need let's say, so that someone standing with a walkie-talkie next to you can be using the walkie-talkie transmitting, and it doesn't affect your receivers. When it comes to inputs and outputs, we have 6 analog inputs, 4 mic line, 2 line, 4 external AES inputs if you don't count the replacement modules for the receivers. And the receivers can actually provide up to 8 channels of audio if you receive 4 stereo Zaxcom receivers, which means you can do wireless surround work quite easily.
Yeah, this thing's packed really nicely. I mean, you know, and even just it, as you're saying, it has such a sleek look to it, and it's so clean. The color is nice, you know, and you know, even as something as simple as we were talking about with these faders, like it's so nice when you're changing, so you don't, like when you go to activate your trim, or if you PFL and you go into a menu and you use the menu encoder to adjust your trim or to adjust Zaxnet and things like that. This is so nice. You use the same fader, you change what you're adjusting, and this Infinity, it's brilliant. It's excellent.
Thank you. The intuitive factor of having the same fader, you know, control the Zaxnet trim or the input trim, you know, so that there's this thing about not having to figure out where else to go. It's always right there for you.
So yeah, that is a great overview of the Nova. I think it's going to be a major hit. The other new thing that you guys have come out with this year is I mean, this isn't out on the market yet, right?
This is actually shipping next week.
Oh, so this is the URX100
Exactly.
New IFB receiver. Why don't you give us a little overview of this too?
Sure. What we wanted to do was sort of redefine IFB. And we wanted to do what I call smart IFB. Most IFBs do one thing. They get audio from point A to point B. Just like our other products, we wanted to do so much more than that. So what we did is we designed an IFB that first of all can monitor any Zaxcom transmitter ever built. So as someone working on a production, you're able to monitor talent directly, boom poles, sound carts, sound bag, anything with the Zaxcom transmitter you can monitor with this receiver. The thing that we wanted to absolutely make sure of was that we had proper privileges, meaning that because you can monitor everything doesn't mean you should be allowed to.
Yeah.
If you're part of the sound department, then yes, you need to monitor everyone so you know that you have the proper QC. If you're giving this to a director, you might not want that director to be able to monitor someone, you know, when they're offset. So we set this up so that it works with the Zaxcom system, so that it will only monitor a wireless if it has the proper privilege to do so. You can set it up so that when you're in a record on something like the Nova, it can monitor body packs, but only while you're in record. And when you go into stop mode, that would cut off. Also, you're able to do it based on other criteria on a limited basis. You're also able to take this unit and say, okay, the URX itself, because it belongs to the sound department, has full privileges no matter what.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that the security of the audio, you know, with this enhanced capability, was going to be something that didn't cause problems on location. So we thought that was very important.
It is.
Because it is digital, it is encrypted. You can turn the encryption on and no one can listen to anything you're doing unless you want them to. And
it could be used as a camera, you know, to provide stereo audio to a camera even.
well, exactly.
Yeah.
The two functions are as a body-worn receiver or as a camera link. As a camera link, it'll output timecode, which it receives from our transmitter, and it will also output a mono channel out the TA5 jack. This is the accessory connector. So you have a locking connector to go to your camera for both timecode and audio. In this mode of outputting timecode, it does receive just one track of audio. Okay. Without the timecode output, you can receive 2 tracks of audio. And again, the audio quality of this is basically a hardwire type quality.
So it's superior to the ERX, for example.
It is superior actually to the ERX. It's the same audio quality as any Zaxcom transmitter or receiver would be.
Well, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, for critical listening, this is absolutely amazing. And it is a diversity receiver. Even though you see one antenna, you know, we're able to have 2 antennas on the system because the headphone is the secondary antenna.
Yeah.
What we want to make sure is when you give this to a director or someone, you know, they have something that looks like any walkie-talkie or any wireless transmitter and not have a dual antenna on it, because that's seen as sort of like, what are you doing? So, you know, we wanted this to have a good look to it.
And on that subject, it has walkie-talkie functionality as well, where it can receive the walkie-talkie audio.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The way that works is we have interface cables for walkie-talkies, so that you plug in the walkie-talkie, and you also utilize this. This is actually our control lanyard. Okay, so you can either plug a headphone directly into this, or plug the lanyard in. If you plug the lanyard in, it gives you volume control over this, volume remote control, which you also have from the front of the unit, but you have a push to talk button, and there's a microphone also included in here. So I can use this as basically a remote microphone for the walkie, and the walkie audio is mixed digitally in here into the IFB receive. So you can route that left, right, or center, and also route the IFB audio, whether it's mono or stereo, left, right, or center. So basically it gives you control over that mix. It's really quite versatile.
Oh, it blows my mind how versatile this is, because even for non-Zaxcom mixer or wireless users, getting a Zaxcom transmitter and getting a bunch of these, just even for non-time code purposes, just because of that integration with the walkie, I can just think of, you know, directors, producers, people on set who are listening on walkie. They've got that. They're compromising. They've got single ear for their IB. They've got another ear for a walkie. They're trying to. They're jumbling around with you know, coily cables all over. And this is it's gonna put it all in one.
It's a very elegant solution. It eliminates some external boxes people have been using for many years. What we wanted to do, you know, was really, again, add a feature that would really get people's imaginations going, and you know, make it a lot simpler for those people that have to use walkie-talkies and IFBs at the same time.
It's really, it is fantastic.
Thank you. The last new product I want to show you is called the ZMT3-X. ZMT3-X is kind of an extreme version of our ZMT. It's designed to have a 12-hour battery life, so that it's great for reality shows. Battery once, let it go. It also is very, very water resistant. The unit has a full rubber case, which is enclosed by what I call my micro pelican. And actually this pelican, I shouldn't say pelican, but this case puts the rubber under pressure to keep the water out. So water's not going to get in through the front or through the back. It's really quite good. If it happens to go for a swim in the loo, as it were, toilet for other folks.
And there's 2 micro dots.
Yes, it is a stereo transmitter. You can easily transmit a stereo image just by screwing in 2 microphones. And you know, this is something that, you know, again, not very common.
No, not common.
Yeah. If I just pull the back off here, you'll see the back comes right off. Here's the battery. We can see it's a Motorola battery from a Motorola walkie-talkie. So they're inexpensive. And you can also see the gasket here around the battery compartment to keep the water out.
Excellent.
Yeah. The unit basically has this back that comes off, just snaps right on, and that's all there is to that. Of course, it has all our Zaxcom features under this rubber cover. There is a memory card, so we can record
Marf audio, right?
Marf audio, absolutely. It's remote controllable. In single mono mode, it has never clip, so it has 128 dB dynamic range.
Okay.
In dual mode, it's 108 dB dynamic range without never clip.
Okay.
Which is also, you know, certainly quite good.
Yeah. Very good.
But really a terrific small transmitter that for reality show productions is great.
Is this a removable antenna, or is this fixed?
It is absolutely removable.
Oh, okay.
No, we want to be in a position where if something happens,
you can
switch
out
your
antenna.
Just switch it out. Yeah.
Well, that is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really built like a little tank.
Yeah, you've certainly been rolling out excellent options for small transmitters, and that even with the big battery, its form factor. I don't know. It's small, especially for what we use it for. It's smaller than like a TRX LA.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's still a great form factor, especially when you consider that the bulk of it is a battery. You know, the 12-hour runtime is just a fantastic thing. And you know, again, we we think it's sort of the extreme version of the ZMT.
ZMT,
And,
or
you know,
that ZMT.
Yeah, we really think the Reality Productions will absolutely love that transmitter. And certainly you can combine that functionality with the Nova, go out with a little tiny sound bag and these transmitters, and just have a wonderful package to
Exactly.
you know, really go crazy.
You're not breaking your back, and you have something with an incredible amount of functionality that's in such a small package, whereas things that were really small, really light, really stripped down were very basic, and that's kind of the only other options you have when you're talking about something that light.
And if you look at the functionality of it, you put so many different pieces together, you know, it actually gets, besides being small and light, you know, it gets to be very cost effective to have this as well.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, this is all fantastic. This is you know, with these new products, I mean, these have been blowing me away. Like in particular, I mean, I love this too, but you know, these two things in particular, you know, this is a great. It's a great transmitter with an upgraded battery, and you know, it is what it is, and it's exciting to have it. It's just, these things are just blowing me away with just the price point too. It's was it 900?
That's 900.
900, and that's, I mean, I was gonna say it's cheaper than some other IFBs.
Oh yeah,
IFBs, you know,
certainly, and with so many advanced features and you know, things that really add value to the production.
With that kind of high quality audio, you know, that and then the Nova. I mean, really, this is a good envelope pushing ear.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for giving me your time and giving us the view of the Nova URX and the ZMT3-X.
ZMT3-X.
All right, you have a fantastic rest of your NAB show.
Thank you, Jared.
All right, take care.